Good morning, brothers and sisters. It's Friday, October 22nd, 9:41 in the morning. Not that anybody really cares. I don't even know why I do that. Anyway, so I'm going to forewarn you, this month's video is probably going to be longer than most. There's just a ton going on in the world today, and obviously it's going to take a little bit of time to sort through all of it. I want to start off with really sad, difficult news, particularly for my local lodge, but also at the state level because Sister Sue Early, our state treasurer, and my local lodge treasurer suffered a very tragic loss. Her husband, Dennis, unexpectedly passed away while he was in Buffalo tending to some of his mother's affairs. For those of you who know Sue, she's probably one of the strongest women I've ever known. And in speaking to her, it was soul crushing. Honestly, I don't know that I've ever seen anything affect Sue, and you could just hear it in her voice, and it was devastating. And so I'm asking all of you, please lift her up and her family up in your thoughts and in your prayers. And if you know Sue, please reach out to her, let her know that you care, and let her know that you're there for her because, again, we're all family. And on the note of family, I want to say a special thank you to State Secretary Patrick Sheridan. He was able to get a hold of the New York State President, who subsequently got a hold of the Buffalo Local Lodge President, and they were able to help Sue in finding a funeral home to help with everything that follows for Dennis. So, take a moment, make sure you're thinking about Sue and her family, and also keep in mind, life is valuable. Over 700,000 people in our country have been lost to this COVID nonsense. And don't misunderstand me. I'm not talking about Dennis in particular. I'm saying, life in general is short, and take the time to make sure your loved ones know that you love them and that you care, so that if something happens, you at least have that peace of mind. Sue, I love you. Take as much time as you need. Don't worry about the business of the state. We'll get it handled if we need to, and if not, we can wait. Let us know if you need anything, and know that, especially me and Mo are here for you. And if you need something, don't hesitate to reach out. We love you, and we're tragically sorry for your loss, and we hope you're healing as best you can, and know that the entire state of Arizona FOP has your back. Okay, we're going to move on a little bit, but what I want to do, I'm going to tell you exactly what we're going to talk about so that towards the end of this video, if you decide to bail out, I totally understand. So first, I want to give you guys a rundown on what happened with the Border Patrol briefing in Washington, D.C. Then we're going to talk about something that happened to me personally and the reason this video didn't get done last week, and a FOP benefit that I think is something that I want to make sure I touch on about that. And then lastly, we're going to discuss everybody's favorite topic on the planet, COVID, vaccines, mandates, all that stuff. So when we get past the FOP benefit thing, if you don't want to listen to COVID stuff, I'm certainly not going to blame you. I really don't want to talk about it anymore, but obviously there's been some developments and I don't have much of a choice but to talk about it. So that's where we're at. So, Border Patrol. I received an email. Obviously, my plan was to attend the state memorial. I told you all that last month. That was what I was hoping to do. I really wanted to get up there for that. And unfortunately, I received an email from our national president, Patrick Yos, asking me to attend a security briefing from the Department of Homeland Security and the Border Patrol. Unfortunately, he invited myself and, of course, our national trustee, Eric Egan. But Eric told me that he was unavailable to go. I believe it was his daughter's wedding. So congratulations to her, Brother Egan. And so I knew there was no question I had to be there. He invited the presidents and national trustees of all the border states, so California, Arizona, New Mexico, and Texas. And I certainly didn't want Arizona to go unrepresented in that meeting. So Brother Egan sent me some notes. They were awesome. And I went and attended that meeting. So the meeting was actually the same day as the memorial, so there was no way to fly out to DC and fly back in time. So I made the difficult choice, but I believe the right choice to make sure that our state was represented at that meeting. So, getting into that meeting, I just want to give you some of the notes. So please don't mind that I'm looking down and reading the notes. So we started with a briefing from the Department of Homeland Security, and I'm going to tell you guys some stuff that I know many of you already know, but this is stuff that was confirmed by Department of Homeland Security. So I want to make sure that you know that they know what we already know. All right, so cocaine, methamphetamine, and fentanyl being brought across the border is its highest in history. We all knew that. And going outbound into Mexico, weapons are at the highest level they have ever been. The illegal crossings are at a historic level. They've never been this high. The numbers, quite frankly, I was astonished. Like, I knew it was a lot. I did not understand the number that I'm about to tell you until they said it, and I kind of went over it in my brain, and I was like, oh my goodness, we definitely have a severe border crisis. That's what this is. Right now, they are averaging 200,000 immigrants per month. Holy cow. That number is insane in my brain. I'm not a mathematician, but I know that that's a lot. So that's where we're at. So the other part, when he got into Arizona, Tucson-Yuma sector is the primary sector for illegal crossings from people from countries other than Mexico. And when I say other than Mexico, I'm talking all the Russian type countries, the Middle Eastern countries. That's the crossings that they're seeing in the Tucson-Yuma sector. The other thing that they talked about, I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself, so I don't want to do that. So that was the Department of Homeland Security briefing. Then the current chief of the Border Patrol, Chief Tony Barker, came in and spoke to us, and he kind of clarified or added to what the DHS briefing was. And one of the things he brought up about the Tucson-Yuma sector, particularly the Yuma crossing area, it used to be, when people were crossing the border illegally, there was like half of them would go through the San Diego sector and then half of them would go through the Yuma sector. What they're seeing right now is a trend where the people that are coming up through Mexicali are actually turning and crossing in the Yuma sector. When he said that, it was great for me because I had a bunch of information from Brother Egan that I wanted to try. I knew I was only going to get one, maybe two questions at best. And so the one that stuck out to me from Brother Egan was the fact that in the Yuma sector, which we just talked about is, everything's going bad over there, they actually pulled all their agents off of the border to come into the office basically and do all the processing of these thousands of illegals that they've had cross. So that was, in the end, that's the question I asked Chief Barker was, what on earth are we doing? We can't, I get it, we have to process people, but we can't just leave the border open. Essentially, that's what was happening. So Chief Barker told me that they had just, literally that week, had just moved 90 agents back to the Yuma sector. In addition to what Yuma has, they added an additional 90 so that they can get back out on the border and try and prevent some of these crossings. And they also are currently in the process of hiring what they're calling processing coordinators. I don't know how many they're going to assign to Yuma, but the concept being that those processing coordinators can handle the processing portion so that the agents can be out there enforcing the laws and deterring the illegal crossings. So that was the gist of the meeting. The other states had their concerns that they discussed. Chief Barker, I believe he was very forthcoming. He was very upfront, and he was very honest with everything he had to say. He didn't really try and hide anything or play any political games. And I believe one of the most important parts of it was when we were leaving the meeting, I'm pretty sure Chief Barker understood that FOP supports him in his mission, and we support those troops on the ground, and we want to do everything we can as an organization to help him get what he needs to make the mission better and stronger for them. So that was the gist of the border meeting in Washington, D.C. Yeah, that was that. Okay, so my original intention was to shoot this video last weekend. Um, on Thursday, I was notified by the FBI that this wonderful world we live in has led to my sister being receiving a letter that contained death threats, not just for her, but for my dad and for me. Contained in that death threat were the home addresses for my sister and my dad. However, they didn't have my home address. So the threat was more aimed at the fact that I was a police officer, the fact that I'm in the public and they could find me and ambush me. Um, so the reason I'm telling you that, A, it's the reason I'm doing this video today. B, I wanted to let you know I'm going to give a lot of credit to the company Magin. And if you don't know what that is, it's an online company that you give them your name, you give them some basic information, and they do a sweep of the internet and they delete all the people who have gone out and searched public records and start creating these databases and publish them online. And this company goes in and starts getting those taken offline. I firmly believe that my membership that I was able to obtain through the FOP at a very discounted rate is the reason that my home address was not contained inside this letter that was sent in regards to my sister. So big props to Vice President Joe Grimaldi. He's right there. He is the reason that we were able to get this benefit for the FOP. If you don't have this benefit, I would highly recommend it, and I would encourage you to go to FOP.net. So not only do they sweep it, anyway, go to FOP.net. You'll see the Magen, it's Magen. You'll see their banner scrolling across on the main FOP site. You click on that, and it'll give you, it'll send you to their page with the FOP discount, and so then you can sign up. Not only do they do an initial sweep of your name and address, but then it's a 1-year monitoring service where they continue to monitor your name and your address and see if it pops up on any of these databases so that they can continue to erase that stuff off the internet. It's incredibly valuable. I will be an FOP member for life just so I can maintain that membership. Quite honestly, it's a huge benefit, particularly given who I am, who my sister is. It was a huge benefit to be able to have that, and just have a little piece of comfort and peace of mind, mainly for my wife, that our home address was not exposed. So that was pretty important for us. And mad props to Magen, Vice President Grimaldi, and the FOP for providing that service. So if you don't have it, go get it if you think it's something that you need. Okay. For those of you who are not interested in hearing anything about COVID, that's all I've got. I'll see you next month. It'll be just before Thanksgiving. But anyone else who wants to stick around, we're going to talk about COVID. So for those of you who are checking out, thank you for watching. For those of you who are sticking around, here we go. So, vaccine mandates. As I've said from day one, I am anti-mandate. I think there are better ways to do business. Having said that, the mandates are all over the place. On top of the mandates being all over the place, the courts are consistently across the nation ruling in favor of these mandates. To include, on Tuesday morning, the Supreme Court refused to listen to a case from Maine where healthcare workers were trying to eliminate the vaccine mandate that they had received. So what that means, the Supreme Court refusing to hear a case means that the court's previous ruling stands. So again, a vaccine mandate was taken to the Supreme Court and it stands. So what that signals to me, what that signals to our legal team, is that these mandates are going to stand and they're going to be legal. I almost said legit legal. Further, what that means is any punishment that they associate with the mandate is going to be legal. So if you haven't been paying any attention and you haven't seen the news, the city of Tucson just this week the city council voted to terminate any employee who is not fully vaccinated by December 1st. I, it, I can't even explain how baffling I find that being the correct explanation, the correct answer right now. I don't get it. At stake is approximately 50 Tucson police officers, approximately 58 Tucson Fire Department firefighters. It's just, there's enough going on in this world. Do we really have to fire people right before Christmas? I don't get it. Okay, but here's what I want to tell you, and here's the legal opinion. And this is from our national legal team and from, of course, the Arizona Labor Council legal team, the Yen and Pilch law firm. Basically, what it boils down to, they can terminate you. And here's what my real fear is. I think a lot of people are going to try and head off to a different department that maybe currently doesn't have a mandate. But my other fear would be the following, is that the more emboldened people get with these mandates, the more they're going to spread. And the more employers are going to require vaccines, they're going to start putting in mandates. And so if you think the answer is to flee to a different department, my fear would be you flee to a different department and 6 months from now they're going to mandate it anyways. So I would throw that out as a precautionary tale. And I would also say that I have heard some people talk about how they're going to be like, well, I'm going to make them fire me and then I'm going to sue them. Okay, except for the fact that we are not winning these cases. No one is winning these cases. So I would encourage you, anybody that's out there, number one, if you are unvaccinated, for whatever reason that is, and you haven't received a medical or religious exemption, those are viable options. If you're one of the people who hasn't done that and you just haven't been vaccinated, I would encourage you to talk to your family, talk to your physician, and make a decision that's best for you. On the other side of things, if you're not vaccinated and you're one of those people facing termination, I would highly encourage you to speak to a financial advisor and speak to an attorney and make sure you know what the path forward looks like so that you can make the decision that's best for you. And I would also recommend, if your financial advisor doesn't know your department's, your city's, or your county's retirement rules, that you talk to whoever it is in your human resources department or whatever department they work in. You talk to them so you can make sure you get the correct rules. Here at Tucson, we're fortunate that we have a local person who actually works for PSPRS, but he also works for the city of Tucson, so he knows the rules very well. And for the people that work for my department, if they get terminated versus retiring, they're not eligible to sell their leave back. They're not eligible for the city's health insurance plan. Things that are very large financial penalties and future penalties, because health insurance, if you haven't looked at health insurance, I promise you, I've been looking because I'm 3.5 years out from retirement. And I'll tell you right now, at least in the city of Tucson, our medical retirement game is the best that's out there. So you're looking at long-term effects depending on the route you take. So, okay. If you've stuck around this long, thank you. I appreciate it. I truly do. If you haven't stuck around, I get it. But if you're still here, I do want to say one other thing. And then I promise I'm going to let you go. I know I'm getting to the 20-minute mark of this video, and I don't like going that long. But I do want to say one other thing. Humanity right now is at a place that I would have never imagined we'd be at. Death threats because of difference of opinion is beyond my comprehension. I don't understand it. Literally tearing each other apart because of a difference of opinion. Going from being a friend with somebody, but now to not talking to them because they did get vaccine or didn't get a vaccine. Come on, people. We are the FOP. We are brothers and sisters. And, if it's somebody I've never even met and I see they're wearing an FOP shirt, that's my brother or my sister. I don't need to know anything else about them. I know that they're FOP, and I know that we're brothers and sisters. So I touched on it last month, but I'm gonna touch on it again. We can agree to disagree, and we can still be brothers and sisters. That's what we can do, and that's what we should do. And I would hope and pray, honestly, that we can continue to move forward with whatever decision is best for you. I'm going to support you no matter what that decision is, whether I agree with it or disagree with it. You're not going to hear me name call you. You're not going to hear me tell you what I believe of your beliefs. That's none of my business. But I'm also not going to defriend you because of your beliefs. That's just not in my makeup, and I hope that we can kind of come back to a semblance of humanity that is just, it's missing right now. You know, I went social media dark because of the threats, and the FBI has kind of cleared me to go back and continue to do what I was doing on Facebook and just kind of go back to normal. And I'm not 100% sure that Facebook's going to be a part of that anymore. I just, I'm not very happy with the things that I'm seeing out there, and I don't know that I want to be a part of it anymore. I blame social media for a lot of what I see in the world, and as great as it is to be able to see my cousins and aunts and uncles and nieces and nephews, I'm not sure it's worth it anymore. I'm going to stew on it. I'll think about it for a while. I'm not making a decision today, but I'm asking. If you're one of those people that's just super angry right now, be angry at the right thing. Don't be angry at your friend or your brother or your sister. I've gone well past 20 minutes at this point, so I'm gonna go ahead and sign off and get this thing uploaded and sent out to you all. It is my solemn hope and prayer that you all stay healthy, that you make the decision that's best for you, with the consultation of your family, your doctor, your lawyer, your financial advisor, your retirement advisor, whatever the case may be. Please don't make a emotional, rash decision based off of any of this. Make sure you're planning, make sure you know that you're doing the right thing. With that, I promise I'm going to let you go. I will see you guys roughly a month, be middle-ish of November. I'm going to really hope to get this done before Thanksgiving. I have a lot going on at work, so we'll see how that works out. I really hope to be able to get on and take care of this before Thanksgiving. If not, let me say it now. Happy Thanksgiving. I hope you have a wonderful holiday with your family, but I'm going to really try and be on before that. So with that, I promise, I'm done. Stay FOP strong. Thanks to Brother Gamaldi. President Yos was also in D.C. with us. It was a fantastic meeting with them, and fantastic seeing them again. So stay strong, stay healthy, and I'll see you guys next month. Thanks for watching.